Could we finally have a good movie based on a video game? Warcraft, directed by Duncan Jones, and is the first movie adaptation of the beloved video game franchise World of Warcraft. Now, I've never been a particularly enormous World of Warcraft fan, but I have to admit, when I saw the trailer for this movie, it looked pretty freaking awesome. I mean, we could finally have a fantasy movie that's actually equal to The Lord of the Rings. This movie looked like it was going to do just that, and this movie looks so much better, so much more interesting than the games ever did. So I was pretty excited for it, and although the reviews for this movie have been generally negative, I mean, the critics are just panning it, but I have to say I enjoyed it. It was a great time. It was fun. So Warcraft tells the story of two races who have been divided, but must, the Orcs and the Humans, but must put aside their differences and unite together to save their world from the formidable, seemingly unstoppable Orc Gul'dan. And the Orc Duratan believes with the humans' help they could defeat Gul'dan. Now, let's start out by saying the visuals of this film, absolutely amazing. This is one of the greatest effects achievement, along with the Jungle Book of 2016. It got the look of the games perfectly, and even the orcs and the CGI creatures look so realistic, so believable. They got the textures and the skin tones absolutely right, and it, if you're not a fan of the games, it beautifully throws you into this world, and actually the world is beautiful. It's so imaginative. It gives itself its own identity. It's different from Peter Jackson's Middle Earth, finally, and the orcs, I have to say, the orcs were definitely the best characters in this movie. Like, the Orc Gul'dan, he was awesome. He was, without question, the best, most interesting, most three-dimensional character in this movie. He has so much heart to him. He's the only orc that sees hope with an alliance with the humans to take out Gul'dan, and he has a wife and child who he has to protect, so you really sympathise with him. And when Gul'dan dies, fighting Gul'dan, it really hits you there. You feel so sad. Whether his death was executed appropriately to the story, I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, props to the orcs. The orcs were great, and the soundtrack to this movie as well was freaking epic. Was so identifiable. It gave itself again its own identity. It's not in the same league as the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, but what movie is? And the action scenes and the battle scenes this movie were pretty superb as well. I mean, the orcs were the best fighters. They were formidable. They were packed with muscle and carried big war hammers and axes. I wouldn't mess with them, and they rode these giant wolves and even used wolf skin for their armor, which was pretty cool. And so yeah, props to the battle scenes when they actually happened, of course. And of course, Gul'dan, the main antagonist, he was a great villain. He was awesome. He was so formidable. I loved how both races had to team up together to take him down, and his fight with Duratang was great. You hated Gul'dan after he killed Duratang. You wanted this motherfucker to go down, but I'm sad to say, as a good time as I had with this movie, it's not perfect. Far from it. It does have its flaws that hold it back from being a great movie. First of all, the human characters in this film, they're pretty weak. They are pretty boring. You really don't care about them nearly as much as you do the orcs. I mean, like the lead human character, he was probably the best of the human characters because he gets the most focus, but that's not saying much. I didn't, I don't think he should have been the main character. I don't think he was nearly as good of character as Duratang. Like I said before, if Duratang should have been the main focus of this film. If Duratang had to die, I would have saved, if he had to sacrifice himself at the end defeating Gul'dan, I would have saved his death for the very end. That would have been much more powerful, much more impactful, and the movie would have been focused on its strongest character, which really would have benefited it. And the lead female character in this movie, she was a hybrid of a human and an orc. She was pretty cool. I loved her character design. She was pretty badass, although she does have this awkward, really forced romance with the lead human, and you don't buy it. It's a bit like Killian Turiel's romance in the Hobbit movies. While it's not as bad as that romance, but it really just came out of nowhere and led to nothing. But at least it did serve some purpose of uniting the humans and the orcs together. And this movie, I said the battle scenes were cool when there was actually action, because the pacing of this film, it's terrible. Oh, this film is so overlong. If scenes really do drag on, and when we do get to battles, it's great, but I was like, this is so cool, can we please have more of that? So if this movie was trimmed down, it would have flowed so much better. So overall, I liked Warcraft. It was a fun summer popcorn flick, and probably one of the best video game movies we've ever had. While it's not perfect, has its flaws, sure, but I think the critics are being way too harsh on it. I do not think it's nearly as bad as they say.
I give Warcraft 3.5 stars out of 5.
So guys, have you seen Warcraft, and what did you think of it? Thank you all for watching. Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on my Google+, and I'll see you all next time.